Hello, I'm Molly, a licensed insolvency practitioner at Parker Walsh, and I'm going to be discussing Members Voluntary Liquidation, a step-by-step guide to the process. So if we just start with the basics as to what is a Members Voluntary Liquidation, or commonly known as an MVL. So essentially it's a liquidation procedure. It has to be carried out by a licensed insolvency practitioner, someone like myself, and it ends the legal life of the limited company. It shuts everything down. Now, the key difference with a Members Voluntary Liquidation to the other procedures such as compulsory liquidation, company voluntary arrangement, administration, etc., is that this is a solvent liquidation. And basically what that means is that there's more than enough money to pay all the creditors in full and then most likely pay a distribution to the shareholders. So when are members' voluntary liquidations used? When the company is no longer needed. So it could be the directors retiring or wants a different change in life. Maybe they're moving abroad, wants to maybe you want to do something different. So it's those sort of reasons. And we can't, as insolvency practitioners, we can't give tax advice, so always speak to your accountant, but it could be that your accountant's recommended members voluntary liquidation because it can be a tax efficient way to close your company down. So with every limited company that's set up, it has to end in some way. Now, unfortunately, as we discussed before, it could be where the company is insolvent and has to go into administration or compulsory liquidation. But if there's more than enough money, the options available are members voluntary liquidation or dissolution. Now, members voluntary liquidation is more advantageous dependent on the company, the size of it, the complexity, but basically it can be more tax efficient and it closes everything down properly, so there's less risk of it being resurrected, which can happen in a dissolution scenario, which can be very costly, and it's quite a long-winded procedure. So members voluntary liquidation does have a lot of advantages compared to your only other option, which is dissolution. So members voluntary liquidation, what is the process to get it into liquidation? So you may be considering closing the company down, you've done your own research and you think members voluntary liquidation is the right route for your company, or your accountant has advised that it should go into members voluntary liquidation, in which case you need someone like myself, a licensed insolvency practitioner. And the first step would be to hold the initial advice. So this can be done via the phone or in-person meeting or online. And basically we go through the company's position, what it is the directors want, timelines, costings. We just cover it all, and then essentially what I would do is put my advice in writing to you with the strategy, and then if you want to go ahead, we would just need confirmation of that, or you might say, actually, the plan's changed, can we discuss this, or can we just go over it again, or I've got more questions. Absolutely fine. You're not limited to one phone call or one initial advice meeting. So we can go through everything, but once you're ready to proceed and you think members voluntary liquidation is the right route for the company, we then send you a link for an online ID verification. It takes 5 minutes. All you need is either your driving licence or your passport and proof of address. And you just either do it on the app on your phone or through the internet. It takes 5 minutes. So that then verifies everyone's ID. So it's your directors and shareholders over 25% in value. And we get that out of the way, and then we will send you the engagement letter. So that formally instructs Parker Walsh to help the board of directors place the company into liquidation. It sets out the terms of the work that we're going to do, the pricing, and then some practical tips, etc., a bit about the process. So we send you the engagement letter. That goes across by Adobe e-sign. If you're happy with it, just sign it. And then payment's due, unfortunately. So then we ask for the payment, and you can reclaim the VAT if the company is registered for VAT. And we send you a questionnaire to complete. Now, this can be completed by your bookkeeper, it can be completed by the director or your accountant, one you think has the knowledge to do it. But the information is relatively easy. We just need to know VAT numbers, CT reference, pay as you earn if you had any employees, details of any pension if there is one. It all depends on the size of the company as to what information we have, but we send you this questionnaire. It's relatively easy because most companies entering into an MVL just have cash at bank and no creditors. So the information is very easy to provide, contact details for the directors, shareholders, more importantly, the bank account details for the shareholders as to where they want their money to go to. So details like that. And then once we've got all the information, essentially we'll draft all the liquidation paperwork for you, and then we set a liquidation date, and that's a date that's convenient for yourself. So you will say, I want it to go into liquidation this Thursday, and that's absolutely fine. We can do it in person or online, and we send you the paperwork in the post and over email. And it comes across by post because even if the meeting's being held online, there's a section of the meeting where you have to declare the declaration of solvency. You have to swear it in front of a solicitor. And we do it online, but we have the solicitor attending, and basically he watches you sign the paperwork, and that's why it goes out in the post, because sometimes you don't have a printer easily available. So we pop it in the post here, we put sticky notes all over so you know where to sign, and if it's slightly complicated, like it needs to be witnessed, for example, we put a compliment slip in front of it showing what you need to do. So it's very self-explanatory, and we're always here obviously to answer any questions if you are still confused. And it also comes with self-addressed envelopes, so once you've signed it, pop it back in the envelope, post it back to us. We also send it over by email, and so you have that for reference as well. And that comes out the day before the meeting. And then on the day of the meeting, it's probably 20-30 minutes. So it'll be myself, a case administrator, the directors, and the solicitor. And it takes 20 minutes. It's signing the paperwork, and that places it into liquidation. Then we notify our company's house, and we pop an advert in the London Gazette, and we notify relevant parties, and we write to the bank, the company bank, presuming this cash at bank, and we would ask the bank to send us the money, and that goes to an estate account. So that's basically in the company's name. There's no one else's money in there, unfortunately, but there's also no one else's payments coming out. It's a bank account dedicated for your company. The money comes in, and then we do keep a reserve just in case something comes out of the woodwork a little bit later down the line. But the majority then goes to the shareholders as a cash distribution, and we turn that around very quickly. So that's the Members Voluntary Liquidation process. So just to recap, it's the initial advice, the online verification for the direct shareholders, you sign the engagement letter, you make the payment, you provide the company information, we send the meeting documentation to you, and then we hold the liquidation meeting, and that pops it into liquidation. And it does sound quite a lot of stages, but in all honesty, it doesn't take that long. So if the company information is provided, say straight away, that process can take about 2 weeks. So it is relatively quick. It can delay it if we're missing information or you want to get the accounts completed beforehand, etc. So there are certain things, but generally speaking, we need about 2 weeks to get it into liquidation. And then in regards to the cash distribution, it depends on how soon the company banks send us the funds, but we turn it around within the week. We make that declaration to the shareholders. So that's the procedure in a nutshell. And if you'd like to get a quote or like more information, we do have Members Voluntary Liquidation guides. I've even got an infographic in regards to the flowchart. We've got lots of information if you want to read more about it, or we can send you the questionnaire so you can see what information is needed. Anything like that, get in touch. We're more than happy to help. Thank you.